it says. Just tell me I can't do it. I can't read that.
A premium account on Twitter. I think we're live here.
Okay, I think we're live.
On their platform. We're not on Twitter, but we're somewhere.
We're somewhere. Hey, good afternoon. Good morning. Harry Schrader is right here. That's Paul Oren. We're glad you're with us. It's live. It's our update, our preview, really, of the Missouri Valley Conference first round games. We're glad you're with us. Probably on YouTube. Maybe I'm not on Twitter. Who knows? We're glad you're with us. Paul Oren writes and runs the Victory Bell, an outstanding website concerning everything Valpo, but particularly for our cases, men's basketball. The Beacons are playing in the first round later tonight, 8:30 tonight.
Late tonight.
Late. They probably won't start at 8:30.
Yeah.
And they'll be taking on Illinois Chicago. First of all, just tell people about your site. It's just a spectacular site. Appreciate what you do.
Thank you. TheVictoryBell.com, subscription-based site covering Valparaiso athletics. Men's basketball, obviously the top thing that we do. I say we, it's me. I'm the only one. Men's and women's basketball, a lot of football coverage. Just hired a new football coach, really fun guy. And spring practice starting up soon. We got a lot of different things going on here. Looking forward to a fun conference tournament, but looking forward to continued fun coverage of Valparaiso athletics. So TheVictoryBell.com, it's got to pay to subscribe, but you know what? We don't work for free. So that's what I'd say.
Glad you're with us. We were just talking before we started, 8 years Valpo's been in the Missouri Valley Conference now. What do you think that's been like for the Valparaiso athletic program in general, basketball specifically?
Look, it's been 8 years. There was one really, really good run in March. That was in 2020. And then COVID hit right after that. And I cringe every time around this year now because people are doing all these anniversary pieces and stuff like that. I don't want to relive that stuff. And particularly from Valpo's perspective, right? Like, I think there's no question that COVID and NIL has shifted the landscape of college athletics. And I think when Valpo got into the Valley, in a perfect world, Valpo is going to be in the Valley for a little bit. They're going to get some of that money that the Valley brings in because the teams do well in the tournament. They were going to upgrade the arena. They were going to kind of be a Valley level program. And I think there has been a litany of things that have pushed against Valpo. Many things they can't control, some they can, and I just don't know that they've gotten to where they need to get to, facility-wise, certainly, and a lot of other things. Now, that being said, I'd put Roger Powell up against many of the coaches in this league in terms of going out there, being in the community, getting players back-to-back freshman of the year, which is almost unheard of. It's happened 2 other times since 1986, and so. Now they got to be able to retain that talent. And I think here, if Valpo can keep their guys, I don't think we're talking about the 6-11 game next year.
Valpo comes in, and you mentioned the back-to-back freshman of the year, which brings the big question, right? Can we keep anybody? And that's the $64,000 question for every team. I think it's 2 years in a row we've had 14 or 15 of the top 15 players in the Missouri Valley Conference leave, whether graduation or transfer. And so that's the big question. I was talking to Matt Graves just a few minutes ago, and I said, it seems like so-and-so is building a good program. Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Because nobody is. And so in a smaller community like Valparaiso, Indiana, that has to be maybe even more difficult.
Well, it's hard because I think there are fans who, and I don't want to slam the fans. There are fans, and there's a line in Hoosiers, right, which is a great basketball movie, and the woman in Hoosiers says, "What I love about living here is nothing ever changes," and she goes on to give this monologue basically about how nothing ever changes, and you can count on things. The fans of Valpo, I think, want to be able to count on the fact that a guy like Allwright will be there for 4 years. I don't think that's realistic, and I don't know that you can blame a guy like Allwright or Cooper Schwieger if they were to take a big offer to go to another school because they're going to go to a bigger school. That's why they're bigger schools, because they have those resources. So you hope you can get them to stay. You hope they build something together. That would be fantastic. Maybe it's blind naivety that I would like to hope that they can all come back because then you get Isaiah Stafford back next year. And I mean, if you had Allwright, Isaiah Stafford, Cooper Schwieger, a big man, we're having good times here in the Valley. But we'll see. Indiana State had a great roster last year. All those guys could have come back. A lot of them play in this city, but not for Indiana State. A lot of these teams struggled. So I guess everyone's just hoping that they find the right coach who brings in with him a whole roster like Ben McCollum. What a great job he's done this year.
Been amazing. Let's talk about the game tonight. Talk about Valparaiso taking on UIC. They're very different teams, and UIC is like deep. They got 9 or 10 guys that play a lot and are very productive, and Valpo, frankly, leans on just a couple of guys. Talk about their matchups that they first had and what you think about the matchup between these two.
Well, they just played the other day in a fascinating game. Valpo down 17 points, and then suddenly they come back. And, Cooper Schwieger he was the Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week for playing UIC. How many times, Harry, has a guy been the Oscar Robertson National Player of the Week and his team went 0-2 that week? I don't think it's ever happened.
You need a deep dive, but it doesn't happen often.
I don't think it has to happen often. I don't know that Cooper is going to put up 35 and 15 or whatever he did, or 33 and 18 again. All right, had second leading scorer in that game at 25 points or something. Valpo's got to hit threes. Valpo's undoing in this tournament, whenever it comes, will be their lack of a dominant big, and UIC has several of them. I mean, they got reinforcements coming off the bench. So, what does a rebound battle look like? Can Valpo hit enough shots where that negates that a little bit? Points in the paint. Valpo's got to hit threes. They were on fire today in their shoot around. I mean, they really, really were shooting the ball well. So we'll see.
It's like the guy that has a good day at the driving range.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. For me, it's what it is. It's the shot on 17 that brings me back all the time. So right now, it's those shots and shoot around. I'm like, maybe for the first time in 5 years, Valpo will have a good shooting game at the Enterprise Center. So the battle is going to be inside. UIC's got an advantage inside. Valpo's got an advantage with All Right and Cooper Schwieger. What matters more? We'll see.
Would you look at what Roger Powell's done this year, Roger Powell Jr., and it's incremental, right? They doubled their amount of conference wins, which sounds big, but from 3 to 6, it's incremental, but it's significant. Almost doubled the amount of wins year over year in terms of the whole thing. To me, those are the kinds of things you can build on, no matter who you can bring back and retain, because you're talking about upward mobility.
And Roger will tell you he's a better coach today than he was last year, because he's got 2 years of coaching experience under his belt. He has an idea now of how to manage a game a little bit more. Because the longest distance is basketball is the 6 inches from one of the number one assistant to the head coach. And so I think for him, he would tell you that he is a better basketball coach today. He's always been a great recruiter, always been a great, he would call it defender of destinies for his players and for the community. I think so. There's no doubt that there's going to be some roster turnover, both on Valpo's choice of moving on from some guys and guys' choice of moving on from Valpo. And he probably has a better idea now of what he wants on his roster compared to maybe when you're a first-year coach and you're not sure. So there has been some positive vibes. Starting early in the conference season, they kind of one-off game in December. They lost to Drake, but they fought hard against them. They had Bradley beat at Bradley, just a missed free throw. And, clock is basically at 0, and if you just hit a free throw, you beat Bradley, which would have been a landmark victory. Then they win 3 in a row, and they're 3, including a win over Northern Iowa. They're 3-2, and you feel like this is it. They skipped a step. They're here. They've arrived, and then they lose 9 straight, and including like a game against, I think was it Southern Illinois? Maybe it's UIC, one of the games at home where they're up 9 with 4.5 minutes left, and they lose that game. How does that happen? I don't like. And then they won a few. They put 101 on Belmont. What a performance that was. And so you can see the growth. What does that mean here? I asked him at the end of the UIC game on Sunday in Chicago. I said, "You throw all the records out. Are you happy about that?" He said, "Yeah, it's go time. It's postseason." And Roger knows a thing or two about postseason in St. Louis. So he's, I think he's well equipped and ready to go.
How do you think Valpo, the fan base, has attached itself either to the Valley or to this event?
They haven't. And that's, I think, the tough thing for me. As I was walking into here today, I was thinking to myself, this is my 8th one of these things. And I have by far been to more Arch Madness games than anybody else associated with Valpo. You know, like because the first year I went to all of them, and the first couple of years I went to all of them. I generally stay for a day after Valpo gets knocked out, and sadly, it's almost always been on Thursday. I think the hard thing for Valpo fans, and maybe this is not fair to criticize Valpo fans, and it's not a fair belief that Valpo fans have. For the longest time, the conference tournament, when Valpo was going to the NCAA tournament every year, was in Fort Wayne, 2 hours down the road. Literally 74 stoplights down Route 30. You could get to that. And then in the Horizon League, now the conference tournament was at home sites, and Valpo just started winning that league all the time. So they started hosting the conference tournament. And so Valpo fans never had to travel for a conference tournament. I've been saying travel to St. Louis. It's a great time, you know. Problem is Valpo hasn't made it to the weekend but one time. And I would just say, like, if you're a Valpo fan, you know when this is going to be every year. There's more fans here this year than have been before. They've booked it. They're here. I'm getting ready to go out and say hi to some of them. But by and large, you look at the fan bases other schools are bringing in, and it's not the same. And it's tough because, and again, why, if you're going to play in the 6-11 game at 8:30 at night on Thursday, I know a lot of people have told me if they win tonight, they're coming tomorrow. Great. That'd be awesome. I'm so jealous, though, of the Illinois State contingent, who every year, this is their NCAA tournament.
Yep.
This is, so I hope Valpo gets to a point where they're routinely making the semifinals or the finals, and because that's what Valpo fans are used to. And I know the Valley fans have had some buyer's remorse on Valpo, and I mean, it's tough. I want them to be competitive in this league. We'll see if it can happen.
Let's talk back about the game for just a minute.
Yeah.
What's going to happen in this game? Meaning, if Valpo is going to win, this game's going to be in the 50s or it's going to be in the 80s. What kind of pace of play is it going to be today if Valparaiso is going to beat the Flames?
Well, I'd like to say it's going to be a fast-paced game for Valpo to win, but UIC's got these reinforcements they can keep bringing in. So I don't know that it's going to be a grinded-out, gritty defensive game. I think it'll probably be in the 70s, probably in that vein. I think you're going to see a lineup change, maybe, perhaps for Valpo. I think they thought. They think they saw some things late in the game against UIC. They got
have the Twins playing.
I mean, Carson Schwieger played the last 17 minutes of the second half. I would imagine, just from sheer, recency bias, that he might play a lot more. And he hasn't played a lot this year. But what he brings, a little bit of toughness inside. And the idea, I think, is that at halftime, if Cooper is in foul trouble, you just switch the jerseys. And you don't even know. And so
Carson's going to play a lot in the second half.
You asked me what I think is going to happen in this game. I think we could have a national scandal. I think we could if Cooper gets in foul trouble. Honestly, seriously, the key to this game for Valpo is Cooper not getting in early foul trouble. He's got to be able to play 35 minutes in this game, if not more. And it's going to be a battle. And what's interesting is these guys they're sitting around at UIC too all day. Sitting around all day. This is the most important game of the year. Sitting around all day long. I can't wait. We're gonna have like a triple overtime game here. This first game that's coming up.
We hope.
Yeah, please.
Maybe the answer is obvious. I've asked some other guys. Maybe the answer is obvious. Give me a name. This person's going to be the hero if Valparaiso wins.
Tyler Schmidt.
Okay, there we go.
Yeah,
maybe it wasn't obvious.
Because Cooper and all are going to do what they do.
Sure.
And if they don't do what they do, then it's an irrelevant question. But in order for Valpo to win, they need somebody else. It can't just be Cooper and all. Cooper and all can probably keep you in all games. In order for Valpo to win, they've got to have a third guy firing, and that's Tyler Schmidt, fifth-year senior. I don't know if you've sent him. You wrote some stuff about him earlier this year. He's a great guy. Fascinating situation. He might have another year of eligibility. Not really sure with the, pretty much if I could probably get another year of eligibility to the NCAA at this point. Just file a lawsuit and just push you right to the front of the line. I think Tyler Schmidt. I think Tyler's going to come out. has been itching to play in a game like this for his entire life. I think he's going to be the guy.
Spectacular. That's Paul Oren. We'll cut it off because the games are about to start. You've been watching what? Maybe you've been watching. Well, we think we're live, but we appreciate your time being with us today. Remember, listen to the Valley Tournament all weekend long here in St. Louis. We'll be bringing you content, interviews, game stories, all that kind of stuff from here, and some things from the Ohio Valley Conference over in Evansville as well. Thanks for watching, and remember, since you've been there, make it a better place. We'll see you again real soon.